Thank you for viewing this video. My name is Ashish, and I'm presenting the book review titled Act Like a Leader, Think Like a Leader, authored by Herminia Ibarra. This book review is a part of Leadership Research and Development class, of which I'm a student working under the guidance of Dr. Vaziri, who is our instructor for this subject. Moving to the agenda slide, the agenda of this presentation is very similar to the way the book is structured. We will start with introduction and discuss the main idea of the book, the outside principle, and its significance in becoming a leader. We will then discuss three transition requirements that are suggested by the author. And finally, we will end up by understanding the 5 stages of a stepping up process towards the journey of leadership. So let's get started. Uh, so there is a famous quote, what got you here won't get you there. And what it means is that there are people who have become successful in exhibiting certain skill sets and behavior and have rightfully attained a decent position in their organization. But when the time comes for their next progression, not only that these skill sets are not good enough, they might actually hold them back because it's a human nature that any behavior that is associated with success and has helped us in achieving our goals, we find it hard to change it. This is sometimes referred to as old mindset, especially when one is looking to step up to the next role. So let's say you aspire to lead with greater impact, but you are too busy executing your daily tasks. You know that you have to carve out some time to build leadership skill, but your urgent is more demanding than important. And coupled with the old mindset is restricting you. Now, author through this book guides how managers and executive at all level can step up to leadership by making small but crucial changes in their job, their network, and in themselves, through which she calls as outside principle. Supporting this outside principle, the book provides techniques that can be used as actionable steps for one to start acting like a leader so that they can begin to learn to be a leader. Basically, it is learning by doing, and that's the mantra of the book. Further, the book is also packed with self assessments and practical advice to help define anyone's most pressing leadership challenges and will help everyone devise a plan uh, of action to become a better leader. If I look at this book has a lot of common guidance and practical suggestions when compared to our course book, Leadership in Organization by Gary Uckel, especially when it comes to leadership traits, networking, and various other aspects of the management. So moving on to the next slide, as the name of the book, Act Like a Leader, Think Like a Leader, the author turns the usual think first, then act philosophy on its head through the outside principle, stating that the only way to think like a leader is to first act. It may sound backward to some people, but Herminia's reasoning makes sense, which she has covered thoroughly in this book. She argues that in the time of transition, thinking should follow action and not vice versa. And that's the only way to think like a leader is to first act like it, to plunge yourself into new projects, interact with diverse people, experiment with unfamiliar ways of getting things done, which in turn will provide the valuable external perspective gained from the direct experimentation. She also explains that as opposed to insight, the outside will help change the way one thinks like a leader about what kind of work is important, how one should invest their time, why and what relationships matter, and ultimately who they want to become. The key takeaway here is to let go of the transition models and use the outside principle to step up to the leadership roles. Moving on, the author then puts forward the transition requirements for the shift through actionable steps, uh, not introspecting, not reflecting, not planning, but trying new and different things. It's all about action. The three ways she explained to do it is by redefining your job in order to make more strategic contributions, diversifying your network so that you can connect to and learn from a bigger and diverse range of stakeholders, and then finally becoming more playful with yourself. And we will cover this all in detail in the upcoming slides. So Moving to the first category of the transition, which is basically redefining some aspects of your job by using methods that can help break you from your daily routine so that you can actually start thinking and acting like a leader. Now, authors suggest many activities that can be injected in someone's daily routine with little effort to make it effective. I will cover three of them. Avoiding the competency trap. This is the most generic problem that almost every one of us faces in their progression. We are good at something, we love doing it, we continue to do it, we get even better on that. And the cycle continues. Author beautifully explains how we are more victim of our strength than we are of our weakness. We overuse our strength and avoid venturing into the new areas. And the solution to avoid is to get rid of this trap, learning how to move away from doing what you are doing good today, so that you can be good at something else, being a leader tomorrow. The second one is basically developing one situational sensors to detect opportunities and threats in the environment. It's basically being more vigilant on the latest trends. And the third one is basically acting like a bridge, which is much more effective in outreach than acting like a hub. And this is very important when it comes because it helps in the competency trap too. You should remove yourself from the center of everything and by becoming a hub, because uh, if you are a hub, you can't find time to do anything new. Else, remember, you urgent will always dominate the important. Moving to the second category of transition, it is basically to enhance our networking techniques. The author advises us to move from homogeneous and a closed networking techniques to a more broader one like this. And she logically explains the importance of this networking in five different stages. First, she explains why most people have an inefficient network. Second, what is importance of an effective network? Third, how can you make your network an effective one? Fourth, audit your network to ensure it is effective. And fifth one, how to best make use of your network to the best of your advantage. So starting with stage one, why do most people have ineffective network? It's basically the author explains two reasons for it. We are narcissists. We look for similar people around us and we bond with them, making our network a homogeneous one. And we are lazy. We do not want to put an extra effort to connect with someone who is not similar to us. The second stage is where she explains the importance of having an effective network, the feature of an effective network that helps one to perform better than their peers, something which has been proven through various research and outcomes. Stage three is a critical one where she provides the solution of making or building an effective network through the BCD approach. B stands for the breadth in one network through a diverse range of contacts. Basically, on age, gender, domain, you may have young and old, you may have coming people from different domains, experts, basically increasing the depth of your diversity in the network. C is for connectivity for an extended reach. And D is for dynamism, which allows the network to grow as one evolves. Basically, what it means is that as your network grows, if somebody else adds somebody else, it should automatically become a part of your network, and that's what it is. The dynamic nature of the network is. The fourth step is basically to frequently conduct audit to see whether your network is not becoming ineffective. There are various ways to check whether your contacts are too homogeneous, your network is about your past role, not about future, you have all internal contacts. So something very important to frequently do the audit. And the fifth one is the crucial one where she provides the guideline how to use your network to get the best out of it. Basically, she advises with various techniques and points, building ties with an expert to brainstorm and sense the trends and opportunities just to be ahead of the curve, and many more techniques like this. Finally, she also advises about three kinds of or types of network that we have: operational, personal, and strategic, and emphasizes on the fact that most of us do not have a strategic network, which is extremely important if we want to grow as a leader. And moving to the third and final category is basically of transformation, being more playful with oneself. The author tries to explain the dilemma faced by most of us with respect to authenticity. She talks about two personalities, chameleons who are comfortable shifting shapes and styles to fit in new situations, and then the other one is true to selfers who tend to feel inauthentic when asked to stretch outside their comfort zone. And then she also provides a workable solution, experimenting with new behavior by picking up the project outside the comfort zone, setting up learning goals. And the most important one is to observe broad range of role models and learn from them, keep refining until you start to feel it is effective and authentic. And that's the best way to go forward with this one. And in the last section of the book, the author provides 5 stage stepping up process. Stage one is disconfirmation, basically to increase the urgency of the work. Stage two is simple addition, where you act and execute on new work. Keep in mind that we are not subtracting any work. Stage three is basically facing the setbacks, and they will happen. And they are basically when the setback happens, they provide you an on-job learning. Stage four is basically applying course correction. And finally, stage five is a stage when the changes are going to stay because they are motivated by your new identity. So I would say that at various stages, while reading this book, while the author was providing guidance on various aspects, I felt so close to my own experience. Some of them I have implemented successfully in my career, and some I would in the future. My organization, I come from telecommunication domain, and my organization has been very supportive, and they frequently conduct leadership trainings for the employees. I have utilized those trainings to understand the competency trap, the importance of diversified network, being a bridge rather than a hub, and many more like this. And I have implemented them successfully and have personally seen the benefits of them. Authenticity trap is a good learning for me from this book, and I definitely intend to utilize my learning um, from this book, implementing it in my career going forward. Um, Towards the end, I must admit that I loved reading this book and the author's approach in um, making one move up the ladder by acting rather than by just getting stuck by thinking. And this, coupled with the course book learning, has catapulted my understanding of the leadership. I would say that there are various chapters in the book that complement the understanding of this topic and should be definitely referred to, like leading changes and innovation, traits and skill, cross-cultural leadership and diversity, and many chapters that we have been reading in our course book. To be honest, it is very difficult to share even a high-level summary in 15 minutes, and therefore, should you have any questions, please feel free to use the discussion board, and I will try my best to address them. And I'm listing down some references that has helped me in creating this slide and the video. And before we end, thank you very much for your time, and let's start our journey of leadership. Thank you very much.